Okay, welcome back. We're going to talk about graphing cube roots. So again, let's make a table. And when you make a table, you always want to pick good x values. When I mean good x values, I mean x values that create y values that are nice whole numbers if you can. One number that I know the cube root of is 0. Please note that I have 5 x's that I like to plug in when we do cube roots. The third one down is always the 0 one for me. Why? Because the cube root of 0 I know is 0, and that's my center of my graph. I'll put that right there in the center. The next number I know the cube root of, and this might sound odd, but is 1, but I also know the cube root of negative 1. We can do the cube roots of negative numbers. Cube root of 1 is 1, cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. Because negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, but times another negative 1 would be the negative 1. So I have 1, 1, and negative 1, negative 1. The next number I know the cube root of is 8, but I'm also going to do negative 8. Cube root of 8 is 2, and the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. The next one I know the cube root of is 27, which is too big for me. So I'm going to plot the point 8, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, negative 2, and sketch this guy in. A little squiggle here, going through the origin. Please note I have 0 when I start, and then I tend to look for patterns, and I notice that I go up by 1, and then it would go up by 7. So I went up by 1, and then I went up by 7. Same thing, I went down by 1, and then I went down 7 more. Just something to help you out when you're deciding what x values to plug in. I mean, you don't have to use my x values. I just tend to pick ones that come out to be whole numbers. So now let's look at this guy. Shifts are going to still be the same as they are with all transformations. This one is going to be moving 1 right. Remember, it's the opposite, and 7 down. So I'm normally in the center, and let's see if that's what happens. First thing you do is I'm going to need 5 points for a cube. I mean, you could do more. Please feel free. And the one in the center should be the one that would make the radicand here 0, which would be a 1. If I plug in a 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. Cube root of 0 is 0. 0 minus 7, negative 7. Then I'm going to go 1 bigger and 1 smaller. 2 minus 1 is 1. Cube root of 1 is 1. 1 minus 7, negative 6. Plug in a 0. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. Minus 7 more, negative 8. Now I'm going to add 7. So I add 1, and then I add 7. 2 plus 7 would be 9. And go 7 smaller, that would be negative 7. 9 minus 1 is 8. Cube root of 8 is 2. 2 minus 7, negative 5. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. Cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9. And let's see what happens here. So I'm going to plot these points. I'm going to plot this one in the center first. 1, negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that does look good. So my original 0, 0 moved 1 right and 7 down. I have 0, negative 8. I have negative 7, negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see. I'm up to 2, negative 6. 2, negative 6. And 9, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm seeing my shape. It's the same size or height because the A value here is 1. But it has just been shifted down. I do find that you may get to a point where you don't need to make a table and you just kind of know how this runs and you think, I'm going to move it 1 right and 7 down. That is fine too. I'm going to do one more with the cube root. Make sure you're okay. Again, I have my table at the top. Not doing a big move. I just have a -1 times it. Again, the middle number is what makes the radicand 0, which would be 0. And then I go one bigger, one smaller, add 7, subtract 7. Plug in 0, cube root of 0 is 0, make it negative. Well, you can't make 0 negative, it's still 0. 1, cube root of 1 is 1, make it negative, -1. Cube root of -1 is -1, change the sign or multiply by -1, which would be +1. Cube root of -8 is -2, multiply by -1 is 2. Cube root of 8 is 2, multiply by -1 is -2. If I plot those points, 0, 0, 1, -1, -1, 1, 8, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we can see the graph. And if I compare it to the one I had before, here is the original cube root of x. Here is the negative, or the flip of it. It's not stretched at all because there's no number in here. If that would be like a -5 or -6, we'd see it going really high or low, but it is not. I hope that helps you with graphing cubic functions by hand, or when you look at your calculator, understanding why it looks the way it does. Thanks so much.